That's all the time we have, folks and fowls. Drive fast and good luck.
Hello and welcome to The Dungeon. My name's Dan, and in today's video we've been playing a lot of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. This is a complete remake from the 1999 Crash Team Racing, and oh my, do I love it. For this game I was very much in touch with my inner child, although touch in the good way, not the bad creepy way. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't even really like racing games that much. Realistic simulators like Gran Turismo I just find it kinda dull, but give me a furry and a rocket pack and I'm loving all of it. Let's address the elephant in the room. We're getting a lot of remakes this year, and we had some in previous years too, and 2020, Final Fantasy VII, that's all I'm saying. Basically, it's the 90s all over again. Now all we need is for MJ to come back from the dead and the next Star Wars film to have some hope to it and we'd be sorted. Anyway, that's enough waffling, let's get on to Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, Crash Bandicoot is a bandicoot. For some reason his surname is also the name of his species. Anyway, he's an intelligent bandicoot, and after being in 3 adventures involving platforms and Indiana Jones style boulders, he was given his own kart game, because that was the fashion back then. In my humble opinion, the original kart game was probably better than any Mario Kart game of the time, but that's just me, please don't crucify me, you lovely Nintendo fanboys. So, this game had a plot. A weak one, but a plot nonetheless. The plot is you're Crash Bandicoot, at least when you start the game, and you're just driving around, having races with your sister and your arch nemesis for some reason, when all of a sudden, a green, slimy alien comes down to Earth and tells you, we're gonna have a race, and if you don't beat him, he's gonna turn the whole planet into a parking lot. I say, he's gonna have a race with you. What that means is you will have plenty of opportunity to practice and beat 4 bosses before encountering said alien on the track. What follows after that are 4 worlds, each with 4 levels, one of which you have to repeat when you face that level's boss, and then finally you take on the big guy. And if you beat him, that's not the end of the game, there's still plenty more to do as you go into each level again and try and find the letters C, T, R, whilst also winning the race. Trust me, when you start playing it, it'll all make sense. And basically, time trials. If you're looking to complete everything, then playing every race at least 3 times is a good way of making players keep at it. And even that's not the end of the story mission, as there are other levels to play, where your main goal is to collect the purple crystals and various cups to race for. All other levels have this wacky, cartoonish, vibrant art style to them, which makes me think of playing through a cartoon from Saturday mornings. This game comes up with a wide selection of characters, all of whom have their own distinct ways of driving. Some are better at acceleration while others are better at handling. And this game comes with a lot of extensive cosmetics. If you want Dr. N. Jin to be wearing a pink ballet dress, then friend, this is the game for you. It's where that my praise of this game comes to a screeching halt when I realise that for a lot of the cosmetics, there's a goddamn shrub rotational system. First it was my card game, and now my kart racing game. Is there no end to your greedy evil? If nothing else, I am now in the mindset of I could spend some of my hard-won gold to get some items, or I could wait until something I really want comes up. And so far, nothing that I really want has come up, so I haven't spent anything. Anyway, let's talk about what makes this game so good. And really, it all comes down to this. It's a lot of fun. Now you might think, anything can be turned into a fun kart game, and in some cases, it can be. In others though, absolutely not. How this works I think for CTR Nitro Fueled is the balance. So like in a lot of kart games, you get items as you're racing around the track, and these are randomized, and they give you different things, such as rockets, or a rolling bomb, which you can explode whenever you want to, or a TNT box. There's quite a few of them, but what this game does smartly is, depending on what position you're in, will give you a better weighting as to what kind of item you get. If you want that big blue globe that destroys everyone in front of you, then you're going to get that towards the end. Same as the clock, which slows everyone down for a bit, and the Aku Aku or Uka Uka mask. More of that later. And when it comes to these items, there is a deal of skill involved in trying to get them to work for you. The rockets are very straightforward, just press the button and it'll home in on the closest player to you, or racer. But the bowling balls, bombs, there's a lot of these there, require a lot of timing and precision as you let go, as you try to anticipate how your upcoming opponent will swerve the track. Or you could do what I do and just let it rip in a group of people. In the game, of course. I'm just talking about a video game, okay? Timing is also imperative when it comes to getting extra speed. So this has a mechanic called a power slide, where if you're going around a corner you have a chance to, well, slide, and if you press the other R1 or L1 button at the right time. This was a PlayStation version I played, so your controller will vary, but if you press the right button at the right time, you'll get a boost. If you chain them up, you'll get faster and faster, and it's pretty awesome. The aim of the game is all about speed and being fastest. So anything you can find to give you that momentary boost in acceleration is absolutely necessary. One of the greatest aspects of this game is getting height, because the height makes your fumes turn orange, and that gives you an explosion of speed. One of the best feelings of this game is going up a ramp, jumping at the right time, getting all that speed and acceleration, and hitting the track with a blaze of power. Not to mention the fact that there are also hidden tracks that you can activate if you're able to jump high enough or use the correct button, which will save you some time as well. However, once you've seen it, you'll always go for it, so I don't know how much it helps when everyone's doing the same thing as you. As well as items and things to collect, there's a hell of a lot in this game to avoid as well. Not least the other racers, but a lot of track obstacles such as pits, or guys wandering around who will knock you off course, and the good old fireball. All in all, it's a lot of things to take in a very short amount of time as you try and manage yourself, the other players, and the track, to the extent that there were a lot of times when I found it very frustrating. But it was a good frustration, one that comes from knowing that you suck and not the game. To give you a comparison as to how frustrating I found it at times, I'm also playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which I'm sure will be in a future video, and that game's a hell of a lot more chill compared to this. One of my most severe bugbears is when I'm hit by, say, a bomb or a rocket, and the car starts bouncing forward. Well, normally that's fine, but what can be forward is a pit, so you lose time by being hit, you bounce forward, and then you fall, which takes up yet more time as your mask of choice comes and collects you. When it comes to the tracks themselves, these are very varied and take place in a whole bunch of locales, starting with a pirate island, going all the way to the North Pole, to various secret lairs, spooky castles, and everything in between. Every character, every racer has their own little map, although it's never normally them who's the best at it. Often it was that stupid bloody polar bear who kept on nicking my first place, that grinning white-furred bastard. So goddamn hate that adorable little shit. Anyway, moving on. Every map has its own unique feel to it, and this just adds to the fun. As you see Dr. Engine's mechs go by, or you see the rocking holograms of Tiny's arena. This game has got a lot of charm, and as it should, since that was what the original did. In terms of it being a faithful remake, this one, by developers Beenox, have absolutely nailed it. There's not really a single thing I can think that they've done, or not done, which is any different compared to the original. It is the original game, just a hell of a lot prettier. Whether it's the underground sections, or going through the sewers, or looking at the coral reefs of Ruse Tubes, CTR Nitro Fueled is overflowing with eye candy. For the most part, they've also kept the same soundtrack as well, which begins with lots of bongos in the jungle area. but every track has its own distinct tune. All the characters have their own taunts and hey when they get hit as well, so it can be nice just listening to your fellow competitors as they reel in pain. Now, when I think of things that this game could do better, not only am I referring to the remake, but I'm also referring to the original. So wouldn't it have been nice if when you overtake someone, you can decide then and there to taunt them, rather than it being an automatic thing? More control over your cosmetics in race would have been fantastic, even if it's just things like flashing your lights. You can beep your horn if you don't have an item, but sometimes you want more, and why not give us more choice as to what kind of horn we can get? It's just little minor things, that's all. And as great as the single player is, the multiplayer is just as great, particularly with friends. Now this may break friendships as you rush to clear the finish line as fast as possible with only a half a second in it, but hey, think of the bragging rights. And if you don't like racing, there's always the battle mode, where 1 to 4 people can take part in, effectively, a battle royale across a map where they collect items and try to take each other out, generally with 1 to 5 lives. Now another thing I think this game could have expanded on is making this a much bigger feature, with say 50 different races in it. That would be awesome. Horrific, like a 50-car car crash, but awesome nonetheless. If that wasn't it, this game goes beyond Crash Team Racing the original. This includes tracks and characters from the other Crash Racing games. I've played one, I believe, before, Crash Nitro Kart, so I recognise Crunch and some other characters. So it's nice having those maps. I just would have liked if those different tracks were incorporated into the base game. Now I can understand classic mode, playing it, well, as the original, but for a different mode, having those other tracks as part of the story would have only increased the awesomeness, in my opinion. Because the newer tracks are awesome. The Android one's great, the Neon one is probably the most beautiful track I've ever seen, and I love the Egyptian themed one as well. That's literally a level taken from Crash Bandicoot 3. I played a lot of Crash on the PlayStation when I was a kid, so I know my levels. But once you've completed the single player things to do, then obviously multiplayer is the next step. And one thing I realised when playing multiplayer, I wasn't half as good as I thought I was. So yes, plenty of room to improve. Now the items can definitely help that, and to increase the chances of better items and making good items last longer, you want to collect Wumpa Fruit, which you see in crates or lying around. Get to 10 and you get the max level, and suddenly your Aku Aku or Uka Uka Mask, which are these spinning colourful things around you, get awesome. Matchmaking is one thing I'd like to pick up on, since it doesn't, from what I've seen at least, seem to pick up on player skill, as in it will throw anyone together, whoever is in the queue at the time. And I know it's not a super massive game with a million plus player base all the time, but it is a bit disheartening when I'm doing literally the best I can do and I'm coming fourth, with whoever came first finished the race 20 seconds earlier. And it's so annoying as well when you are playing online and whoever finishes first starts a timer of 30 seconds. If you don't finish the map in 30 seconds, that's it, race over. Which means you don't get a time for the track you happen to be on. I think 30 seconds was a little severe. Maybe a minute, but I can imagine some people would be annoyed having to wait a whole minute for everyone else to complete the track. You can also tell this is definitely a game released in 2019, as in a few weeks of launch there is now some kind of brand new campaign where you get to race for prizes, including new sexy Bandicoot lady characters to get, all of whom have different accents. Activision sure does know its audience, and yes, you will be getting Spyro at some point as well. All in all, this truly is a great game. It's not a long game by any stretch of the imagination, and if you're not one who likes kart racing, then you won't really get much out of this. But this game has a very simple goal: make a fun kart racing experience, and it does that to aplomb. You could argue that it had a good blueprint to work off from the original game, and well, yeah, that's true, it's an authentic recreation of a great game from the 90s, but modernized so it looks fantastic in 2019 as opposed to a jagged polygonal mess. Although if you want to get the polygon character skins, you can do that too. Is it cynical marketing, re-releasing old games from 20 years ago? Yeah, maybe, but it's Crash Team Racing! If they release a sequel to this game in 2019, and it was much the same as this one, that would still be a great game in its own right. I guess some older games have fantastic gameplay, where all you gotta do is retweak the visuals and you've got another winner. So, all in all, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel gets 4.5 harmful racial stereotypes out of 5. This is a great game to have fun with, and there's not really much I can complain about outside of a few little things such as the shop rotation and some of the soundtracks for a few of the races being a little bland. If you got a bunch of people together in the same room, say 4 and 4 controllers, put this game on, it'll be a blast. This might well be my nostalgia goggles speaking, but from all the Anthems and Crackdowns and Far Cry New Dawns I've played so far this year, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled has been an absolute breath of fresh air. We don't need to remake every game from the 90s, just make good games going forward. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please stick around over the next few weeks since this summer is only going to hotten up. I've got a bunch of games from the last few months that I need to play during the summer drought season, just in time for autumn. So if you want to see Sekiro, Mortal Kombat, Days Gone, Mordhau, and some other ones maybe, then keep watching. Anyway, that's all for me for now. Have a good one. Bye.